There was a time where every console needed to have a mascot and an upbeat platformer to package them in. Nintendo started the practice with Mario, and companies like Sega and Sony would eventually follow suit with characters like Sonic and Crash Bandicoot. But even consoles that most people have long forgotten by this point felt the need to have mascots when they first hit the market. Consoles like the TurboGrafx-16 and its mascot, Bonk. Bonk's Adventure is a relatively laid-back platformer, especially in comparison to its contemporaries. There's no running, and even after losing all of your lives, the game only sees fit to set you back as far as the start of the most recent level. But that's not to say the game doesn't become frustratingly difficult at times, as the game still requires quite a bit of precision in order to play properly. Just because you're not speeding through levels doesn't mean you don't need to land in the exact right spot every time you jump. But on some level, that's what you expect from a classic platformer, some level of challenge. And Bonk's Adventure, while it may not be quite as challenging as some of the games that were coming out around the same time, still definitely has that element, though it's not exactly hard to see where the game went wrong. It is, despite its more lackadaisical nature, extremely similar to games like it. Now, I suppose you could say that about just about any side-scrolling platformer, and Bonk isn't a bad platformer by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, it's quite good. But it doesn't really have anything that sets it apart, except perhaps the fact that Bonk uses his head as a weapon, not his feet or some other appendage. It's hard to overstate, however, how much the game's pace affects how it plays. The Mario games are often best played at a full sprint, and Sonic definitely is, but Bonk denies you even the option. And the pace actually works to the game's advantage in a lot of ways, forcing you to more carefully consider your moves before you make them, and then not really punishing you all that much if you fail, something very helpful in a game lacking anything even on the level of a rudimentary password system. Now, from a modern perspective, what makes Bonk so interesting and worthwhile is that most people haven't played it. Because at this point, if you're looking for a retro platformer to play, you've likely gone through all the big ones. But Bonk's Adventure is a game that so many people miss thanks to its origins on the TurboGrafx, a system that has more or less been completely forgotten. And not only have a lot of people out there not checked this game out, but it's absolutely worth checking out. Somehow getting tossed in the same bin as the wide swaths of shitty platformers that were coming out at the time. There is, however, one very important thing to remember if you're going to pick up a copy of this game. Get the TurboGrafx version. While Bonk's Adventure was eventually released on the Game Boy and the NES, probably in an attempt to sell more copies, the TurboGrafx version is the best one by far, which shouldn't be a huge surprise given the system's 16-bit nature versus the 8-bit Nintendo systems of the time. Every Monday, I look at a game that's at least 10 years old, what I would consider to be retro, and I see if it's held up today, if it's still worth playing now. If you like that idea, be sure to subscribe so you can see the latest videos. If you like this video in particular, be sure to hit that like button, and thanks for watching.